You haven't played with a lot of multi-goal leads recently. How big was it to kind of get a lead Saturday and then build on it into the third period?
It was nice for sure. Building on it was great, but I think it was more about the response that was important for us. I liked the way our guys played. I liked how competitive we were. Whether or not we had a 2-goal lead or if it would have been a tie game at that point, whatever the case was, I liked the way we played the game overall. So that was the most important thing for me.
Do you feel like Nazem's skill set has rubbed off on Jonathan over the past few games that they've been together?
Or the other way around. I think you can look at it both ways. Both guys have a very nice skill set in a little bit different way. Where we all know Jonathan likes to pass first, but this year he's been around the net a lot. He's finding more scoring touch for us, which I think is just awesome. And I think together, since the two of them have been put on the line, I think they've challenged themselves a little bit too, that we have to be guys that can be leaned on in all these situations. So I think that's helped to raise both their levels as well.
We know Dan Bedard, on Thursday, he was far from the only guy who had a tough game. Yeah. But what do you want to see from him just to see that he's moved past a difficult performance?
Well, I don't need to see anything from him. He doesn't change from day to day. So he's at the time, if he has a night he's not happy with, he's fiery at the end of the night. But if you'd see him in the morning, it's just another day, which is one of the best qualities or characteristics a player can have, especially a goaltender. Just being able to move on and look forward to what's coming up next.
What did you make of Hanley and Uyghur as a pairing?
I liked them. I thought they were good. I mean, I was a little bit worried about McKenzie because he hasn't played there all year, and it is a different feel when you're on the other side. But I think it gave him a little bit of a shot in the arm as well, because you get different looks. You get, different things on the offensive blue line. Some of the plays that you get to make when you're breaking out of your own zone are a little easier plays to make because you're not on your backhand. Like McKenzie would find himself a fair bit when he plays on his offside. So I thought they played well together. So we'll give him a chance to go again.
What is it about Hanley that makes him that ideal seventh defenseman? A guy that, from where we're watching, doesn't seem to have any bad days at practice, can go for long stretches of time without playing, and when he comes in, just slots in as normal.
Yeah, I think mentality, you have to be a strong person to be able to be like Hanley for sure. It goes a little bit, we talked about the other day with his 200th game. He's had to, all the way along, East Coast League to the American League to the NHL, you have to make sure that you show up every day and prove to people that you, one, deserve to be there, two, that people are going to want to be around you. You have a great attitude. So he's learned how to be one of the ultimate team guys by making sure he comes in every day, and nobody would know whether he's played 10 games or he had the best game of his life the night before. So he is someone that people want to be around, and I think he just gives off the right kind of persona because of what he's had to do and how he's had to grind all the way through to get himself to this level. And I think he's one of the better guys that I've seen at it for sure. Very strong mentally.
But different players, people used to talk that way about Michael Stone as well. It seems like that seventh defenseman role is something that people really have a lot of respect for.
That's why they're able to play for as long as they do. There's such value in it. There really is. And I remember maybe Michael didn't play for, I felt like it was 20 games or something. There was a long time, and there was maybe 3 days where we were going to do some extra work at the end of it. And I asked him, do you want to do anything today? He just looked at me and said, nope, not today. And I was like, okay. But his teammates would never know. So it takes a very special person. Like I said, they're very strong up top. They know when they step in the lineup that they're capable and ready to play, which is important for me. So those two have a lot of the same characteristics in that regard.
Does that kind of go to show, sort of a weird analogy, but the guy on the bottom of an NHL roster is still one of the best hockey players they've ever played? Does that kind of mentality that players on the fringes of a roster are still really capable and can come in and fill in?
It's even you can look at the American League. Some guys are so close, and if they had the opportunity or the chance, then they'd get it. Maybe they could run with it and become a full-time NHL player. I feel like there's the guys that are the elite players, they're a little bit different, but then there's a lot of guys that are very close, and sometimes it is just about being in the right spot at the right time and getting that opportunity. That's how close a lot of the players are, and that's how good the American League is.
You've done those bag skates after morning skate. That's not easy for the guys, is it?
No. Hey, if you're doing it every once in a while, but if it's game after game after game after game, it's not easy because they want to play and they're competitors, and it gets old. And that's where, if you're not mentally sharp, you can lose yourself a little bit. But that's where like I said, I've got tons of respect for players that are able to do that.
Your tempo out there seemed like it was real high today, the pace. How tough is it to battle fatigue in a game?
In a game? I don't know. I think that's the coach's job to make sure that you recognize what your players are going through. And there's some situations where, hey, because of travel or because of schedule, you know your players are going to be fatigued. But when you're at home and we have some time, a little bit of rest, that shouldn't come into the equation. It's nights like where we came back from that last road trip, we get in late. That's an area where I think a coach has to be careful, making sure the guys get what they need, but allowing them to fill that gas tank up as well.